Namaskar. Today I'm going to introduce you to a new guest, a person who is very accomplished, who has lived most of his life in Hong Kong and is now living in the United States. And to know a little bit about what's happening inside, his concerns, and he has a new initiative that he had started this year. He had one more thing last year. We're going to look at all those things. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Elmer Yuen. And before I bring him on the camera, I just want to relate to you his rather impressive resume. Elmer Yuen, his Chinese name is Yuan Gong Yi, is a Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. We all talk of it as HK-SAR. He's a citizen of HK-SAR and a Japanese resident. Elmer was born in 1949 in Shanghai and is fluent in English, Mandarin, Cantonese, and Shanghai. He did his schooling in Hong Kong from 1957 to 1968. He got into engineering in the United States and graduated as an engineer in 1972. And then he started his career as a chief executive officer of Teleart Limited, Hong Kong. Teleart did electronic and watch manufacturing. He was with this company from 1973 to 1996. Between 1985 and 1990, he invested and helped 4 companies go public on the NASDAQ. From 1994 till now, he is the CEO of Golden Bridge Technology Limited. It is a company that holds many 3G and 4G patents. And from 1996 to 2006, he lived and worked in Beijing, China, acquiring natural resources for China. From 2007 to 16, he was in Shanghai, advising Chinese state enterprises. From 2016 to 2020, he lived and worked in Russia and Mongolia in the gas pipes sector and for the gas pipes project that happened between Russia and China. From 2020 till now, he lives and works in the United States, lobbying worldwide in criminalizing the Chinese Communist Party. In 2020, he was a founding member of HK Freedom Beacon Foundation to liberate Hong Kong from CCP. This year, he has been busy setting up a truth foundation to fight CCP propaganda and mainstream media disinformation. Elmer, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. Elmer, that was one heck of a resume, if I say so myself.
I've never had it read to me because in business you don't need a resume.
That's true. That's true. Your reputation precedes you, and so you've been a Hong Konger for many, many years, even though you were born in Shanghai, but you grew up there, and if you know what we read here is first of all distorted and then filtered and perhaps even wrong, plain wrong, because the mainstream media in the United States, for a lack of a better term, is sold. So this is my opinion.
But my opinion too, absolutely. The communists control the mainstream media and the social media.
So see, you worked with the Chinese government for several years on various projects. Maybe you can walk us through as to what you found over the years and what made you to move to the United States and start these 2 compelling foundations.
First of all, I was born in 1949. That's when the People's Republic of China was founded in the same year. So I kind of grew up with this communist regime. And it started off as communism. And of course, we understand communism. I hope everybody has a chance to at least read the doctrine. Never mind the capital, but at least the doctrine. Basically, the doctrine says they want the state to own everything. All right, no private ownership, everything state ownership, and they will plan your life. They will do everything for you, and you just lay back and you'll be fed. That's the utopia they've been selling. But then this is the perfect way to go bankrupt. And as you can see, the Soviet Union and then the Chinese communists, basically they were bankrupt up to the 70s. All right, in the 70s, both huge country, all right? USSR and People's Republic of China both went bankrupt because it's not sustainable. How can you ask the government to do business, all right? People make money, the government spend them, they have all the power, all right? The government officials, the communist government officials have all the power. So people are working like slaves, and then the officials have a privileged living, and they tell you how to live, and they tell you, and they took all the money and so on. So in the end, it's a bankrupt system. It's like ask any government to run business, you end up bankrupt. So I was the first person to enter China when they opened up. They were going bankrupt, so I had no choice. So in 1977, they decided to open up China, all right? Which means they are willing to compromise into private ownership and market economy. These are two very important issues, all right? So they are diverting from their original communist doctrine into market economy and also private ownership, protection of private ownership. We thought they are departing from that rigid communism, all right, from the rigid communism. And as they get rich, like the American thought, as they get rich, they'll become one of us, right? They'll work and think and live and everything, enjoy life like one of us. So everything went, and sometimes I notice when I have meeting with them in China, before the meeting, they group. And after the meeting, they regroup. Meaning they do have a separate agenda, and we kind of forgivingly said, oh, maybe they will change. All right, this is they're used to this communist reflex. So anyway, we went in, and then we're doing a lot of business. I was vice chairman for Sanyo, Japan, and then we have so many joint ventures in China, so many factories. At the peak, we had 60,000 workers. You know, Sanyo used to be a big name.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've used products, yes.
Until the communists stole all their know-how. All right? All the joint venture, they stole their know-how. Today, Sanyo went bankrupt, basically. They were sold to Panasonic just to save face. But they were emptied. All right? Their technology, their innovation were emptied. And as a result, as you can see, the consumer electronics, home appliances, everything Sanyo used to make, China thrives, right? And sell them all over the world at a fraction of the cost. And I can also say that they have furthered the technology. It's not that they just copy and then stop, but they have furthered because they do. People are graduating. There are about 8 million university graduates a year from China, and those kids study the same book as you guys and as Americans. So they basically are very up to date. Everything was kind of okay, right? And I built the biggest golf course in the world across the border from Hong Kong. It's called Mission Hills, right in Shenzhen. It's a huge golf course with something like over 250 holes. Anyway, everything sounds okay, and all kinds of business. And also China sent me out to many various parts of the world to look for resource. You know, they need natural resource because China, so many years, all their metals, coal and everything is mostly consumed. All the good qualities are not consumed. So we had a good relationship. We know secretly they have an agenda. They were secretly buying out all the Hong Kong media meaning TV, radio, all the magazines and newspaper. They were secretly buying everything behind the back. So they are so powerful. If they don't give advertising to that newspaper, the newspaper will go bankrupt, right? So before they fold up, they go in and buy it cheap. So that's the way they work. So Hong Kong is a typical example. We just 2 weeks ago we lost our last free paper.
Yes,
they own everything. It's called Apple Daily. I'm sure you've read in the
news.
Yes,
I have. Yeah.
So I know China really well. I spent total 20 years in China, 10 years Shanghai, 10 years Beijing. I live in the States 20 years. So I know the American system. I live in Hong Kong 20 years. I know the Hong Kong system. And I travel all the time. I'm probably the most traveled person in Hong Kong. And as you know, Hong Kong people travel a lot. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, if they would have continued one country, two system for Hong Kong, as they agree with the British in the Joint Declaration, if they would continue, we would just, life would go on, and we just continue our way of business. But then, about last year, June, they've decided to adopt this national security law, which means it overrides everything. With that law, you don't need to go through the court. The court would listen to them. They can do anything. They control the court. They control the prosecution. They control the police. That's it. They control everything. They can override everything. Hong Kong, in India, I'm sure you follow the British law, right? British code.
Yes,
we are more or less the same.
Yes.
That's why it's very easy for me to talk to you, because we have the same background, very much same background. I mean, I went to the same British boarding school and so on, so we're kind of a British educated. But then they start adopting this. Xi Jinping only graduated from grade school, never even went to high school, all right, because of the Cultural Revolution. And also because his family, his father was at that time, was considered as a rightist, not enough, not progressive enough. So he really hadn't much education. What he experienced was Mao's Cultural Revolution, and Mao was super powerful, one man, very much like Stalin, and this is what he experienced. So he assumed power about 10 years ago. Xi Jinping assumed power 10 years ago, and he was kind of in the beginning he was kind of go along with the oligarchs.
Just quick question about Xi. Was he not a sent down youth to go and work in the agricultural farms for like 10 years because his father was not on the right side of Mao's politics?
Yeah, I know his father quite well. I know his father quite well. I had lunch with him several times in Guangzhou. He was the secretary for the Guangdong province, and Guangzhou is the provincial capital. So anyway, his father went to work camps for 16 years when he was only like 9 years old. And like all the students, after the Cultural Revolution, they were sent to the farm because Mao didn't want them to make trouble in the cities. So send them out to the farm. They have played their part in the Cultural Revolution in overthrowing Mao's rivals, right? It's everything in China, in the communist country, it's not about money. We live every day, right, for money. Right. They work every day for power. Because with power, you automatically not only get money, you get everything, whatever you want. So the country from 1966 to 76 was shut down for 10 years. All the schools, 100% of the schools were shut down. So basically, those 10 years, including my two younger sisters, lost 10 years of education.
What did they do?
Farming. And then, of course, they can't do much. City people going to the farm. Even the farmers say, "Oh, you give me a headache." Looking at these people, don't know how to work with their hands or what. So it really was the burden to the farmers. Honest to God, I have to feed them and then teach them. And then these guys, the city people, are not physically not fit and not capable of taking hardship. It's a horrible thing. But anyway, Mao wanted them to be away. Mao didn't want them to stay in the city. The Xi Jinping, he came in, and everything in communism is about power. He needed to consolidate his power. He was powerless. He has nothing, no base at all. He came in, and fortunately, first he was able to get the military power. That is the most important thing. All right. Military, because the military does not belong to the nation. It belongs to the party. Now, this is very, very important. And who is the party? The head, all right? The party secretary. It's the same in the Soviet days. He controlled the military. He spent about 4 years controlling the military. And then he controlled the police. That's very important. Police, prosecution, and court, right? Basically, he controlled the freedom. our people's freedom.
But
Exactly.
my question to you, sir, is knowing fully well that HKD is the only legal tender that the world will accept from China, then why did they pass the national security law in 2020? How are they sure that the US will not break the link with the HKD?
The Wall Street works for China. People thought Wall Street people must be very, very rich, right? They thought Chinese work for Wall Street. It's the other way around. If you have, let's say, $10 trillion to invest, you tell the Wall Street people what to do because they earn a fee. Anytime you do a merger, IPO, acquisition, Wall Street only works on fees. They make money on the fees. It's not their money. People thought Wall Street has the money. No, they go into the institutions, all these funds, retirement funds, insurance fund, and use their money. They are only trading. They are trading capital. So they basically listen to China because China is the biggest capitalist. In the last 20 years, China is definitely the biggest customer, not US, not US. So they basically listen to China. Now, what happened in Hong Kong? The communists told the Wall Street, you come into China and we let you do business in the capital market. We let you own 100% of your company. Used to be only 50-50, all right? Like Goldman, Morgan, and JP Morgan Chase, and so on. Only used to be a 50. Now they allow them 100%. So these people start dreaming they are going to work in China and own the market. So let's say last year, really exactly last year, money started streaming into China. They were lending money to the Chinese, all right? Then lend money, and a lot of it through Hong Kong, because Hong Kong, we have the law. China, basically, there's no law. It's only for show. The Constitution, every law is for show. Please, don't even think about it. Don't waste time arguing about this is legally right or wrong. The law is for show. They apply it however they want. Now, at least Hong Kong, before July last year, we have very proper commercial law, as good as your country, or maybe even better. And it's fully supported not only by the British, but by all the world capital market. We are the biggest capital market in Asia, no question. Japan, Singapore, they are way behind. So, but anyway, they want to start lending money or supporting China. Wall Street want to play capitalist, not with their money, with the institution money, all right? But they direct and make money. Every time they trade, they get a piece of the commission. So but the point is, they were ready to push in huge amount of money. And Donald Trump already said they want to take away all the privilege they gave to China because there's no longer one country, two systems.
Right.
But then Wall Street is so powerful. Wall Street makes sure that the peg, the US dollar and the Hong Kong dollar peg remains. Because if they lend money to the Chinese, they want, when they get back the Hong Kong dollars, they want to make sure the money can be converted to US and repatriate back to the States. So this is what they want to do. So they have kept it. I belong to the committee. I advise the committee for president. I represent them in Hong Kong. Problem is they are not powerful enough. Wall Street, and today, of course, with the Biden administration, they don't want to lose that. So that will remain. The peg will remain. And Hong Kong account for 70% of the mainland Chinese foreign currency income. 70%. It's a lot of money. So we are very important to them. We are.